You wouldn't want to have it any other way, folks. You found your way to Derf and Dylan, Fans of the Weast, episode Quattro. I don't know where else you would rather be than right here, right now. Because your hosts
Or Derf
and Dylan, both of their teams are 1-0 against all odds. We're both sitting here with the Bills beating the Rams and the Seahawks beating Mr. Unlimited and the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football. I mean, can you try and find something that makes this make sense on how this happened? Like, I know we want to talk about, like, we want to talk about like Nathaniel Hackett's mess up and like the fumbles, right. And then we want to talk about all this game stuff, like what happened in the game. But like, what? This team was not supposed to win.
Right.
How? Just how? Because I don't know how.
Well, I think the biggest thing is this just proved that Nathaniel Hackett wasn't ready. I feel like the Broncos were in assumption that Russell Wilson that was just going to be fine. And the Seahawks said, not really. No, he's not going to be okay. This is literally why we traded him. You're stuck with him. Good luck. And, we got significant amount of draft picks from that trade, and now we're rebuilding a team. We're not great, but we still won.
Like, that's the crazy part, that you can still win, but we're in like a rebuild mode almost. Because like, if you can get like the fun wins like this one, like what I've been telling people today, if the Seahawks go 1-16, that's fine. Because we beat Russell Wilson and the Broncos. That's the only win I really care about at this point. And then we just lose the rest of them. I can live with that as long as we end up with like a top 3 draft pick. Because, the Jets and Falcons exist. So, 1-16 might be pushing it. And then we secure Bryce Young. So, that would just be heaven for me. Like, we're step 1's complete. Now we just need to get a top 3 draft pick somehow. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
But, the Bills don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. They beat the Rams it was 10-10 at the half, and then things just we got a little out of hand there.
A little out of hand or making a statement?
I like that better. I guess it depends on your viewpoint. If you're a Rams fan, you're like, yeah, that got out of hand. Holy shit. If you're a Bills fan, you're like, yeah, statement made.
Yep, absolutely.
And I know we're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth, but I got to get it out right now. Like, this entire offseason with Von Miller being there, I can't count the amount of times that I said, he's not going to make that big of an on-the-field impact. It's just what he's going to do, like, in practice and helping the other guys out. Right. And here he is with, like, he must be listening to Fans of the Weast, because he just went in there and was like, yeah, hey, bud, I'm still Von Miller, boy. And he sacks his former QB twice.
Yeah,
not
buddy.
just once. Oh, my God. So good at football. What a guy. Is he going to be in the Hall of Fame, probably? Probably.
Yeah, I would think so, without a doubt.
Yeah. Because, I know he went through, like, a rough patch there with injuries and stuff, but before, like, he got his first injuries with Denver, like, he was a absolute monster.
Yep. Based on just the requirements, he's been Pro Bowl selected. That he has the two Super Bowls already. Looking for the third.
Is it the first time in NFL history if he wins Super Bowl with the Bills, this will be the first player ever to win with 3 different teams?
I believe so, yes.
I think that's what I heard. I heard that. So, Future Hall of Famer, probably Von Miller right there, still going, 2 sacks in 1 game.
Yeah, buddy.
So, real quick, we have to get to our unofficial sponsor. The unofficial sponsor for this episode is going to be the emotion of cringe. The emotion of cringe. Because we had a full dose of cringe on Monday Night Football with all of the interviews Russell did, people talking to him, and then obviously even the post-game interview, just doing his normal song and dance. It's just cringe all around, and I can finally, I can breathe a breath of fresh air, and I don't have to defend his cringiness anymore. Because before it was just like, oh, this is what you want in your locker room, a guy who's just a team guy. Like, no, he's cringe. It's disgusting. It's boring, and everyone hates it. All right? That's what it is. So This episode is unofficially brought to you by the emotion of cringe. It's fantastic. So, yeah. We're going to get to a quick recap before we get into next week's games. Now that we're in full swing of the season, this is the format that we're going with for this show. It was a little weird leading up to it with preseason football and then only 1 week.
Right.
Now we're in full swing. This is what we can expect to put out for content for you for the next, until at least the playoffs, because we'll probably only be talking about one team at that point. So at least the next 17 weeks.
You never know.
I don't even want that. I don't want it. I'll just tell you that right now. I don't want it. All right. So, just based off of the format here, we're going to be talking about the Broncos-Seahawks game first. Just a quick recap with some points that, from a Seahawks perspective, that's what we want to bring you. From a Bills fan's perspective, a Seahawks fan's perspective. From a Seahawks fan's perspective, the first half was absolutely nothing that we should have expected to happen. I don't know. I don't remember what Geno Smith finished with, but at one point, Geno Smith had 2 touchdown passes. He was 17 for 18 with 170 some odd yards. That shouldn't have been his stat line. Not even close to that.
Right.
The man absolutely dominated the quarterback position. Clean precision passing. The pocket he was standing in was clean. And with exception to Charles Cross getting blown up by Bradley Chubb twice, because, you can't expect your rookie left tackle to hold on to Bradley Chubb the entire night. All right?
Right.
Which is something that is fair to expect that, okay, he got sacked twice. That's fine. I will survive. Yep. But overall, that offensive line held up very well for Geno Smith. Getting the tight ends involved was something that Seahawks fans have not seen since, I don't even know, 2016 or 17 when Jimmy Graham was there. And he had 100 catches in that one season. That was the last time we've seen a tight end be used. So to see 2 of them catch touchdowns, Coley Parkinson and Will Dissly, so nice to see tight ends get involved finally, because we've always had good tight ends that have potential to be great. They were just never utilized. DK Metcalf made some man catches. The dude went up and caught footballs like a man, which is what you love to see. Another huge one that even an old dog can learn new tricks. All right. Pete Carroll went for it on 4th down. He could have kicked the field goal, and Seahawks fans would have went, here we go, right? Just kicking field goals when we should be going for. We got to put the nail in the coffin, all this stuff. Now, the result's not what we wanted. Geno didn't get the QB sneak first down, but it was just nice. It was a breath of fresh air to see Pete Carroll give the green light on a 4th down. You never saw that as a Seahawks fan before. It was so nice to see. Could they have called a better play than having 30-plus-year-old Geno Smith dive up the middle? I probably would have called something else, but it's fine. We can work on that. I will survive. My defensive MVP is actually going to be Nuosu, our newly acquired defensive end that came over from the Chargers. That man, almost every single big defensive play that happened, he was a part of it. He was in the backfield constantly. He was in on both of the fumbles, at least making some form of hit on the running backs, both those fumbles. Also, shout out Mike Jackson for recovering both of those fumbles as well. But he's been a great addition so far. I hope he can help out some of the other guys that didn't play as well. Like Mafe was absent, and then our other defensive end, he didn't play as well. Is it Darryl Taylor? Blanked on the name for a minute. He did not have a good game, I would say, whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, we definitely mentioned, or we talked about that. We were watching the game yesterday for sure.
Every single time they ran his way, he was just getting caught inside. He was getting bullied in the run game by wide receivers. He was not focused. Something was wrong in his brain, and hopefully he watches some film, with practice, and they can work some of those kinks out. But all mistakes aside, they played relatively clean football. Just the DK Metcalf fumble was the only turnovers they had. Geno Smith himself played a clean game since Charles Cross made his fantastic catch on that fumble, the strip sack there, catching that ball midair. MVP level player. That's your franchise left tackle right there that you're going to have for the next 15 years. I think the Seahawks overall played a very good game. I just, the second half was obviously they gained like 40 yards of offense and as a whole in the second half, whatever it was not good. So thank God the defense stood up and did what they had to do. And Nathaniel Hackett's an idiot. That's just basically the end of the story right there. And I needed to go to another screen here to do this. We got to go. I literally label this screen memes and videos just so I can throw up stuff that I want to throw up here and to talk about. I mean, this has got to be one of the greatest. It's probably a top 5 moment ever on the Eli and Peyton, the Manning cast.
Sutton.
This is the moment right here. Like I was at home. We were at the bar, and then I had to go home because they kicked us out of the bar. I watched this play on my phone, and I just saw him. He was squared up with Williams, and it's like this. I felt like this was the moment. If he misses this tackle, we lose. If he makes the tackle, we win. That's where my head was at. So he misses this tackle, and I immediately was just like, "Yep, that's that." But let's obviously see what happens.
Yes. A good play.
Now we
got
fourth and five is doable.
Look at Peyton.
We got 3 timeouts. I might use one right here. Let's use one. Let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one.
This is what I was telling my Broncos fan coworker. Get used to this. Russell Wilson, we all blamed Pete Carroll when Russell Wilson was here for the clock management. We now can officially confirm that 90% of our clock management issues were on Russell Wilson and not Pete Carroll. And this pretty much confirms it.
They're gonna try to draw. They're gonna try to draw him off sides.
You
try to draw him off sides.
But you have to snap the ball to do that. At least try to snap it.
You don't want to waste that much time, I don't think.
Running a play.
They look unsettled. Sutton doesn't know what he's doing.
Good old Peyton Manning.
Hurry up.
And yeah.
Time out.
What the? So you just burned 30 seconds to call a timeout?
It gets better, Shannon. It gets better.
A lot of time wasted right there to call a timeout, Pate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because now if you get 5 yards,
this is it right here.
I mean, you still got 2 timeouts, but you gotta get some yardage.
They're gonna kick it. They're gonna kick it.
Kick what?
They're kicking it right here.
They're gonna kick it. Kick what? What do you mean? Kick what?
The field goal right here.
They're gonna kick
Hold
it.
on.
Oh,
How far?
they're kicking
Let me see how far this is.
62-yarder, 63-yarder.
What?
Shannon Sharp could not believe what he was seeing. He was in complete disbelief. I think Eli and Peyton were also questioning it, but they were more analyzing it. Shannon Sharp was reacting how everyone at home was reacting. Like, what in God's green earth are you doing? You either call a timeout and figure out your 4th and 5 play, or you just go up there and you like rush it. You just try and figure out a 5-yard play right there. Like you got to have that play. Yeah, I feel like that you should have had that play before you ran that third down play. It's like, all right, if we come up short, this is the one we're doing. You rush up there and you catch Seahawks off guard. Like that's how you play football. That's the big difference. And then just one more quick thing. This is what Doug Baldwin posted, the former Seattle Seahawk wide receiver. This is what he decided to post after the game. Oops, not view replies. Just play it. Yeah. Look at that. For those listening to the podcast, you can view all of this on our YouTube channel where the video is posted. Yeah. I mean, I think this is my last point that I got for this recap is I don't know if it affected Russell Wilson more or it affected the Seahawks more to play well. The fact that there were so many former Seahawks. Like there was Marshawn Lynch, Richard Sherman, KJ Wright, Doug Baldwin. All of these former players were at practice and at the game and on the sideline. Like all week. Like they wanted the Seahawks to win this game so bad. Like everyone was there, which really makes you wonder. Like I cannot wait for the E60 or the 30 for 30 because we all heard the Russell Wilson side at this point. Like he didn't trust the Hawks. They didn't listen to him, like blah, blah, blah. What's the other side? Because apparently there's another side because Richard Sherman, KJ, like the entire Legion of Boom and then some doesn't just show up to practice all week long because they're bored. They wanted the Seahawks to win this game for a reason. So I think that had a lot to do with the level of play that the Seahawks put out there. And I know Russell Wilson saw that on social media too, that all his former teammates were there stacking up trying to go against him. There's a reason those former Seahawks weren't at the Denver practice supporting Russell. They were at the Seahawks practice supporting the Seahawks. That says a lot right there. So that's pretty much all I got right there. They're 1-0. They're the only team in the NFC West with a win right now. It feels good. And we play the 49ers next week. We'll get to that in a bit. That game next week is a lot bigger now. If we're honestly thinking about wins and like proving to the world that this team can win, if that's your goal, next week is a huge game. But we'll get to that in a minute.
For sure.
We got our other game here. The Bills. Yeah. The Bills and Rams.
Bills and Rams kicked off the 2022 NFL season, and the Bills did not disappoint. The Rams, however, did. Bills started out a little shaky there first half, and I feel like I've seen bits and pieces of this game multiple times, but had never really sat down and fully comprehended this game. It just happened to be that I was at work when the game happened, so it was kind of those things where I saw a lot of replays and saw re-airs, but wasn't like sit down and like fully engage it. But I think I saw the majority of the points I needed to see. I did a lot of you spend a lot of time on Twitter after the game trying to see all the points, what's going on. Look for those little nuggets that you get. And one thing is the Bills didn't punt. Again,
they shouldn't even have bothered signing the guy.
Right?
Matt Barkley proved he's got this. Why bother?
Who needs a punter?
Stupid.
Punter who? Yeah, but
Punter
Josh Allen
Renfro. Sorry, I don't know why that popped in my head. I was just like, punter who? Punter Renfro. There you
go. Yeah, so Josh Allen had 2 interceptions. They weren't really his fault.
I'd say one wasn't his fault.
Okay.
The one to Crowder, I could see how Crowder could have ran a shallower route and not let the guy jump in front of him. But Josh could push that out in front a little bit more. At least make him compete for the ball. But, at the end of the day, I'll give him like 1.5.
All right. I did see a little nugget today that out of all of Josh Allen's 31 passes, only one of them were considered off target.
Was that a throwaway too? Like
maybe I don't know.
It could have just been a throwaway. Who knows?
Yeah, Bills offense, they hit up Gabriel Davis, hit up Stephon Diggs, no issues there. Josh Allen did his thing. Like, the meme with the Michael Jordan, when Allen's reaching over the goal line, like Michael Jordan in Space Jam.
And he did it on Bobby Wagner too, of all people.
Right?
Like, that's awesome.
It was just beautiful. Yeah, first half was a little shaky, but the second half they really put the throttle down, and I was really excited to see this from what I did, because I was a little nervous with Ken Dorsey, just overall, because I really hadn't seen his play style calling with the starters. If this would have been Brian Daboll, the Bills would have won 13-10. Because Daboll would have tried to play a balanced play, run the clock. I don't think he would have gotten aggressive enough, because he knew that if they had to later down the road, they could have. And Ken Dorsey, to me, said, no, we're not giving them a chance to catch up. Put the foot down. Let's go.
Gotta love coaches like that.
A couple of bad fumbles with Moss and James Cook. So we'll see how much James Cook plays this upcoming week. But
I put $5 that he's inactive for this game.
Would not surprise me.
I'd put money on it.
So from the offense, Josh Allen played phenomenal. Did not miss a beat from that phenomenal last 2 minutes of the Kansas City game. Like it's like he basically hit football puberty and became and made that step.
And now he's just officially good at football forever.
Now he is just I don't know. Is he he's almost like the new standard, the new breed, what can't this guy do now? It's like, holy crap.
I mean, that was my first takeaway, as soon as the game started.
Right.
It didn't even take me long to realize, he's throwing darts.
Oh, yeah.
He's hitting these guys in stride. He's putting it right on the number, short, intermediate. It didn't throw too many deep balls early on. I don't think a lot of teams threw deep balls in week one overall. I mean, there's a couple, but I feel like it wasn't at the rate that we usually see. But it's week one, so I mean, maybe that was why. But just the fact that he's throwing with power and accuracy, at least accuracy of a Tom Brady. That was always his thing. No matter what, he's putting it on his guy, but then still being able to run too. You're putting 2 in 1, and it just feels weird. I don't know if it's because he's a Bill, or just because he didn't get the initial hype other guys did. He's only still coming into his own. Just the fact that he might be the best player in the in the NFL. And that's something that we're gonna have to talk about this season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you could say Mahomes does it just as well, but Mahomes is more of he's a loose cannon sometimes, with his sidearm throws and everything. Josh Allen, he can take it from the pocket and deliver exactly where he needs to go, and if he's running away from pressure, he can still keep the poise to just throw it normally, and throw it 50 yards down the field and be okay, there you go, Diggs, have a touchdown. So offense, definitely got into form later as the game went on. But this defense, holy cow. I was not expecting Von Miller to have 2 sacks.
No, I don't think anyone. Some people might, but I didn't. I did not. I didn't expect him to have 1.
Right.
Maybe half a sack if he got lucky.
Yeah. Ed Oliver looked good. Tim Settle looked good. Jordan Phillips looked good. Gregory Rousseau looked good. Boogie Basham looked good. Boogie Basham with the interception. Gregory Rousseau with a tip and the knockdown. And, it's about 7 sacks total, I think, against Matthew Stafford. I can't remember how many interceptions it was. I think it had to been at least 2.
Yeah, I think it was at least 2. There might have been 3, but
Yeah.
I think 2 would be a safe number.
But I mean, Von Miller definitely like legitimately helped this team hit that next stride in defense. Like
1 touchdown, 3 interceptions for Matthew Stafford.
3 interceptions. Okay. I mean, I think they absolutely put the pressure on Matthew Stafford, and I think the NFL world saw a Detroit Matthew Stafford in the LA Rams offense.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of like he reverted back a little bit. But the Bills definitely just did their thing, and it was, I think, just phenomenal to see, coming out week 1 strong like that against the Super Bowl champs, who like they did gain some pieces, but they didn't really lose a ton either. So, I thought it was phenomenal that these rookie corners, Kyer Elam and Christian Benford, like they didn't completely shut down Cooper Kupp, which was which was expected.
You can't, you can't be like, hey, go out there and hold them to like 3 catches for 50 yards. Like that's just not
right. I mean, I think Cooper Kupp had 13 catches, I think it was like $120 or something like that, and a touchdown. But no one else on that Rams offense had any worthwhile stats.
No. Cam
Akers was trash. Allen Robinson completely flopped on his face there. I think he one catch of 2 targets, and that last pass there in the end zone with Christian Benford like boxed them out in the corner. You don't see a rookie doing that typically at the end of a game. Like that was pretty good defense there. You gotta give credit to, I think, Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott. They really brought these rookies up because they knew Tre'Davious White wasn't going to be ready for week 1, and they got it done. Like, I saw a tweet, after the game from, like a Rams fan, like, Rams fans like think like this is, the Rams didn't play well, yada, 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 yada. And then, but when you look at the Bills, like, the NFL should be afraid because the Bills came into the Rams' house and destroyed them. And the Bills are going to look to do this against the rest of the NFL.
Like, how many people had the Rams returning to the Super Bowl?
Right.
I mean, I think a lot of people, like, I don't know, I want to call them professionals, and I don't know what to call them, but the people that, pick stuff, they didn't say the Rams because they just go with, it's hard to repeat, it's hard to do that, hard to return.
Right.
But they kept their team mostly intact, and they still, they still have a lot of their core players, and they added people like Allen Robinson and Bobby Wagner. So I think a lot of people had them returning to the Super Bowl, and the Bills just destroyed them.
Yeah.
I think at this point you don't want them to return to the Super Bowl because it's going to be like a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl at this point. If you let that happen, that's going to be disgusting. So you're better off finding a new NFC team to go compete. Hashtag Tampa Bay. A little Tom Brady, Josh Allen action right there. That's one way to send Tom Brady into retirement, getting beaten by his old rival there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game. A lot of people picked the Rams to win, and they were, to me, joyfully wrong.
Joyfully. Oh, you picked the Rams to win? Ha ha ha. Get fucked. I always mark these episodes explicit. Don't worry. I've given up trying to keep it PG. I guess PG. Because PG-13's okay. You're allowed one F word in a PG-13 movie, right? So there it is.
So, yeah.
There's the one. Maybe that'll be a new segment for the show. Find where Dylan said fuck. There you go. Well, now that's twice. Oh shoot.
now we're rated R.
Now we're rated R. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, I mean, both teams are 1-0, off to a hot start here. One team has high aspirations, and the other just beat all expectations for the season already. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's one team's just getting started. The other team's like, well, we made it. We're here. The Seahawks have won the Super Bowl. They're going to Disney World. That's where they're at. At least that's where I'm at. I cancel the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'm good. Just give them the trophy.
Yep.
But unfortunately, that was just week 1. We have 16 more games to look forward to. So we'll go touch on these for next week. So first, we're going to be bringing up the Seahawks going and playing the 49ers. What do they call their stadium these days? It's not even Levi anymore, is it?
Yeah, it's Levi Stadium.
Is it Levi still?
Yeah, it's
I
been
thought they changed
Levi.
it again.
No, it was been Levi, I think, for the last 5 or 6 years at least.
Yeah, because I knew they brought down Candlestick. For some reason, I thought they changed it again, but I guess not. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Levi Stadium. I'm like, for some reason, I'm just double checking again because I just feel like it's still Levi's. Okay. I don't know why I thought they changed it. I thought they did.
No, other teams changed their stadium names this year, but
rest in peace, Heinz Field. The 49ers actually opened up as 9.5-point favorites for this game. Like that's a lot of points.
Just seems wrong.
I mean, the 49ers, granted, it's a monsoon. You can only say that so many times. They only scored 10 points against the Bears, okay? You can only bring up the fact that it was raining so much. Mm-hmm. And the Seahawks went and they beat Russell Wilson-led Broncos. And then you're giving them... I mean, even against the Broncos, they were only 6.5-point underdogs. Now you're going to go play the Trey Lance 49ers, and they're 9.5-point underdogs. Who's making these numbers? Like, they think they got some interns over there at like Caesar Sportsbook. Where the heck? So, regardless of the points, Seahawks are going to play their first division opponent, and it depends on your viewpoint, like I said before. I want the Seahawks to go out there and just still show the world that, yeah, we're still a football team. Geno Smith is in the MVP race. You know, this is what we're going to be this year, and we're still going to win football games. Then this is a big week. Go out and beat a division opponent. Go and embarrass Trey Lance. Make them start 0-2 and make them question their decisions that they traded away 3 first-round picks so they could get this guy. Embarrass them. That's what your goal is going to be next week. Right. If your goal is to tank, then all you can do is just hope that, they tank. I mean, but we're not going to sit here and talk about, let's hope they tank. That's not going to make good content, is it? So we have to talk about the other side of it, where they have to win. So Jamal Adams did go out with an injury. It sounds like a serious injury. I'm thinking done for the year, maybe. Some people are saying like somewhere from like 6 to 10 weeks. No one knows honestly what's wrong right now, which is weird. Like you would think the next day you usually figure these things out, but at first I thought it was a groin injury, and then they said it was a quad injury, and now it's a knee injury. So his whole leg just exploded apparently. We don't know what happened. Mm-hmm. But he'll be gone. So then Ken Walker will probably he might be back. He's questionable still, but Ken Walker will be added to the running back rotation, hopefully against the 49ers, the rookie running back. A nice little side companion there for Rashad Penny. Because I'll tell you right now, Travis Homer was not the answer, like especially last night. I'll tell you that. I would have liked to see more DJ Dallas in the running game than Travis Homer, but now we're not going to see either one of them because we're going to have Kenneth Walker playing. At least I say hopefully still because it's not official, but he's on track to play on Sunday. So that will be fun. So that's just kind of like the overall viewpoint here. The 3 matchups I really want to look for. Number 1, obviously, is going to be containing Trey Lance. The Seahawks did not do a great job. If Russell Wilson was, 5 years younger still, he would have had a lot of runs in that game on Monday night. All right. That's the facts. Because he had lanes, but he decided to throw. And the Seahawks in general just looked slow. Darrell Taylor looked slow. Mafe was non-existent. Trey Lance has the potential to be a monster in this game with his mobility. So that's one. Number 2 here, the offense needs to play 4 quarters. They need to go out there and not just crash in the second half. They started out so strong against the Broncos and then didn't score anything in the second half. If you're going to want to keep up with the mobility and possibly dominant offense of the 49ers, you're probably going to need to score more than 17 points. Plus, the 49ers defense is, I would say, better than the Broncos defense. And then number 3 are rookie tackles, Abe Lucas and Charles Cross. We already saw Bradley Chubb blow up Charles Cross twice in the last game for 2 sacks. Now they get Nick Bosa. So it's not going to get any easier for them. So we need to keep an eye on those 2 guys. Nick Bosa can move all over the line, and they both need to be ready. And Geno Smith, he needs to keep his eyes open, eyes in the back of your head, bud, because Nick Bosa is probably coming for you. And then, all right, the segment here brought to you by BetUS. Get in contact with us if you want 125% deposit bonus for your BetUS account. BetUS. You can bet on BetUS to make bets. My favorite bet for this game is going to be the Seahawks spread at plus 9.5. It's way too many points for a team that just beat the Broncos. It's at minus 104. Mm-hmm. I think it's too easy. You can't pass that up, in my professional opinion. So then we move on to Monday Night Football. The Titans at the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, so Bills are 9.5-point favorites on this game, which is I'm not surprised.
That's fair.
Based on the way we saw the Titans play the Giants last week, and so 3 things. So a couple things that overall points here. Based on what we saw against the Rams, will the Bills be more balanced on offense? I want to see some of the bigger runs on offense. I have no issue with how well they've done in passing game. Just seems like if they ever run into a problem, I'm a little nervous. I want to see more Singletary and Zach Moss, for sure. And then, will the Bills ever have to punt? Can we get it 4 out of the last 5 regular season games to make it like? Can the Bills get that streak going? Because I think I saw it was like back to like 1939, I think was the last time. So, but yeah. So
if the second team offense has to come in, then yes, they punt. If they, if it's like 40-10 and like Case Keenum comes in, then yeah, they might have to punt. But outside of that,
yeah. So real quick, 3 things to watch here. I'm looking at Derrick Henry versus the Bills rush defense. Derrick Henry didn't do, I don't think, phenomenal against the Giants defense, so I'm really looking forward to this Bills defense being able to shut him down quite a bit. This Titans passing game with their no-name receivers and the rookies against the Bills secondary against those rookies be interesting. I want to, looking for the Bills secondary to continue to shut down receivers like they did against the Rams. And then last thing is just looking for the Bills to play a lot more cleaner football with less turnovers. Obviously, a couple of the turnovers that the Bills had against the Rams weren't like game-deciding turnovers because of how well the offense played, but still, still need to see a better team, more cleaner team there.
It's hard to have 4 turnovers a game and continue to win. It'll get you one of these times. It'll get you. So that's all the time we have for this episode. We got to wrap this up here. So as always, you can get us at Derf and Dylan, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all the other pages, whatever you feel like using. And you can listen to this on any podcasting platform, Spotify, iTunes, whatever else you want to listen to it on. That Fans of the Weast. And this has been
Derf
and Dylan. Go Hawks.
Go Bills.